Hello, Geneva, and welcome back to the Sports Shield podcast. I'm Quinn Kennedy. I'm joined here by Zach Pullman. We're going to dive right into some national sports, starting off with Thursday Night Football that happened last night. The Ravens beat the Bucs.
Yeah, it was a close game. They snuck out a win at the end of the game. The Buccaneers are looking bad, man. Tom Brady and co. can't get it together.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rough patch. I mean, they're, 3-5 now. They're 2 games under 500. It's a very rough game, not what they were expecting. This team was a force to be reckoned with in the NFC the past 2 seasons, and now they're kind of just a middle-of-the-pack team. It's very rough to see.
Yeah, another close win for the Ravens. Their defense has got to be giving fans in Baltimore heart attacks.
Yeah, every single game.
Has been really close for them, so that's kind of funny.
Yeah, and Lamar did his normal Lamar thing. A lot of passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no receptions, and a few crazy rushes over the course of the game. He's one of the few players in the NFL that can do that.
I mean, pay the man. Come on.
Just like he said, he held up a sign after the game and said, "Pay number 8." Absolutely crazy. Now we're on to our picks. Football. Bears at Cowboys. Who do you got for this one?
You know, I'm a Bears fan, and I would love to make that homer pick, but it's just not happening this week, guys. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, maybe Ezekiel Elliott. We'll see. That Cowboys defense is just too good. Justin Fields is not going to cut it this week.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very rough game for the Bears, especially if Micah Parsons is in, because currently he is listed as questionable on the injury report. So it might be a little bit closer if he's out, but Cowboys, I think, are going to run all over the Bears this game.
Moving on to the New York Giants, the Seattle Seahawks. It's a couple of surprise teams with a nice matchup here this week. Who do you got, Quinn?
I'm going to take the Giants here. I'm a Giants fan. I really like them. I've been rooting for them so far this season. I think they're going to do really well this season. Their defense has been great. I don't really see many issues besides for quarterback and wide receiver in that team.
Yeah, it's been cool to see these teams this season. They both have really good running backs, and Saquon Barkley and Kenneth Walker III, and some surprising QBs, Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones, and Geno Smith. Give me the Seahawks in this one.
Moving on to 49ers at Rams. This is going to be a big matchup. 2 teams are arguably underperforming this season. I'm going to take 49ers on this one. I think they're a much better team as of now.
Especially with the new addition of Christian McCaffrey in their backfield, adding to an already dominant run game with Kyle Shanahan and his absolutely amazing zone scheme runs. I think the 49ers are going to do what they've done the past couple of years and beat the Rams in the regular season.
Yeah, I really think that's going to happen. I think there's much more than that. I think 49ers are going to come away with a fairly dominant victory. It'll be a fun game to watch, a very close division rivalry. And that's all I have to say about that. We'll move on to Panthers at Falcons. So this game is not exactly something crazy. It's between 2-5 or a 2-5 and a 3-5 team, but whichever team wins this game will have the sole possession of the NFC South.
Yeah, that division is just a stink show this year, man. No team in that division has more than 3 wins right now, so we'll see what happens. Give me the Falcons in this one. I'm believing in that Falcons, like in the juju, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Panthers in this one. I am a huge PJ Walker fan, XFL legend. I think he's gonna lead them to another strong victory. I'm gonna take them here. I think their run game without Christian McCaffrey is still very good. They have Chuba Hubbard and Deontay Foreman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, take the Panthers in this one.
All right. Now moving on to college football. We're in the meat of the season now, and we're going to get some big games every week. In Big Ten play, we got Ohio State versus Penn State. Ohio State is one of the best teams in the nation, obviously, and Penn State has played them really tough over the past decade, even though they aren't at the same level. So it's going to be a close game, but give me the Ohio State in this one. Talent will win out, and talent will win out every time.
Yeah, I'm going to take Ohio State in this one, especially at the college level. Talent wins. I mean, C.J. Stroud is him. He is a great quarterback, especially when he's throwing to JSN and Marvin Harrison Jr. I think it's going to be a dominant game, and there's not much more to it. Ohio State, I think, is going to blow them out. I don't think it'll be even close. I think Ohio State's just going to run away with this one very early on.
All right, continuing in the Big Ten, The Paul Bunyan game is this weekend, that being Michigan State versus Michigan for possession of the Paul Bunyan Trophy. Michigan is undefeated this year, and Michigan State is not playing super well. But this is one of the most physical, brutal games on the schedule for either team, and you can tell both of these fan bases really want this win.
I'm going to take Michigan State here. I think they're going to upset them. I think it's going to be a huge win for them, taking home that Paul Bunyan Trophy, as you had said. I think it's going to be very important. I think Michigan State will win this.
I do think it'd be cool to see Michigan State with an upset, but Michigan has been so dominant this year, man. They just blew the doors off of Penn State a few weeks ago. So, and with their dominant run game with Blake Corum, I think they're just going to roll right over Michigan State. And then finally, in the SEC, we got another rivalry game, the Florida-Georgia game. The Bulldogs being possibly the best team in the nation, and Florida a disappointing 4-3, although they do have an upset win over Utah at the beginning of the season. What do you think?
I think it's going to be Georgia. I mean, they are the number one team in this country for a reason. I think they're kind of just going to roll over it, not be too crazy. It's going to be that defense at Georgia. I mean, it's just crazy. It won them a championship last year. I think all 11 stars got drafted into the NFL, and it's still that coaching is amazing there, and they're going to do it again this year.
I do think Georgia is going to win this game, but I do see a path where Florida plays them tough, and it comes down to the wire. Anthony Richardson, that Florida quarterback, is insanely talented. In his good games, he looks like a better version of Lamar, but in his bad games, he looks like a worse version of Mitch Trubisky. So it'll depend on whether Anthony Richardson is hot or not. But give me Georgia in this one in a close game.
So next up is baseball. The World Series is happening right now. Astros versus Phillies. Astros swept the Yankees in the ALCS. So,
yep, and the Phillies advanced to the World Series after beating the Padres in the NLCS, thanks to Bryce Harper with a 2-run go-ahead home run in the 8th inning of Game 5. The Phillies are hot, baby. It's crazy. Philly's a great baseball town. It's been cool to see them kind of come alive over the past month as they've gone on this amazing run.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Astros in this one. I mean, they've just been so dominant this season. They haven't even dropped a game in the playoffs yet, and they've played 9 of them.
Yeah, the Astros are just the big bad wolf of baseball right now. They've been to so many World Series since 2017 at this point. I can't even keep track of them all. But I feel like there's definitely a narrative here of a young, fun team with a marketable superstar versus a very hateable team after the Astros were caught cheating and they're just so good year after year. I do think that the Phillies won't be able to pull off quite as much magic at home as they did in the NLCS, but it's going to be a very close series. The Phillies lineup is insanely hot, and they got to find ways to hit the Astros pitching. Give me the Phillies in 7.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Astros in 5 here. I really do want the Phillies to win in 7. I think that 7 games, 7 or more games of playoff baseball is always better. There's not a disadvantage to going in more games with playoff baseball. It's always great to watch. It's a must-watch sport, especially once
best postseason in any sport.
Yeah, I don't even think any sports come close to it. I mean, maybe you could argue basketball, but
yeah,
still, baseball is absolutely crazy. The heart that goes into that sport is nothing compared to any other sport.
Yeah, I mean, you see the emotion that Bryce Harper and Rhys Hoskins have when they hit these home runs in Philly. Rhys Hoskins with the bat spike and Bryce Harper standing and watching it and gestures to the dugout. It's crazy, man. You can hear the roar of that Philly crowd through the TV, and it's nuts.
Yeah, so that's all the national sports news we have for you today. Enjoy your week in Geneva. Go Vikings.
Beat Rita.